You love what you do, it's not work. I love what I do. I love coaching. I love the interaction with the players. I love building a team, working with the assistants, game planning, the game itself, which, there's some good ones, there's some bad ones, but they're all learning experience and working with, young kids who, with the energy, enthusiasm to want to be good, to want to be successful. It's great every day to wake up and come into that environment.
It's the news that still has the college football world shook. North Carolina officially hired Bill Belichick as its next head football coach. He becomes the second coach to ever take on a head coaching job in college after winning a Super Bowl. Bill Walsh was the other, taking over at Stanford in the early 90s. So today we're learning more about what went into the hire of Bill Belichick, and it sounds like he wanted to get away from the politics of the NFL. So, JP, everyone's talking about the transition. They are different sports, NFL to college. So how easy will the transition be from NFL to the college game?
I mean, wanting to get away from the politics of the NFL and you join a university.
Politics everywhere you turn.
That is crazy. All right, so I think there's a clear path on how this works. The way a lot of people, particularly people that have played in the NFL, covered him in the NFL, have covered this story, they make it seem like it's as simple as walking into a room with recruits and showing off 6 rings and saying, come play here. We see people turn down Kirby all the time. People turn down Nick Saban, right? We got Dabo Swinney, who's won multiple championships. People turn him down. It's not necessarily about this idea of, I just want to win a championship. Where do you want to go to school? What's the location like? What is the school like? Do you fit the culture there? What positions do you develop better than anybody else? If I was a team that had to recruit against North Carolina right now, the first thing I would say to any recruit is, who has he developed? He's never coached a day in college football. He takes the guys that were already developed, the work that I've done my whole career to develop NFL players. He just took those guys and he did what he did. I would ask that and say, we have a track record of development. This guy, unfortunately, is as great of a coach as he is. We don't know if that's something that's right in his wheelhouse. I would start right there, and then you just keep going down the chain. But this idea that it's as simple as walk in, flash the rings, greatest coach ever, I understand all that. These kids are young. They're unpredictable. They don't always make the best decisions. Like, there's some work that goes into building a roster and ultimately putting out a team that can really compete at the highest level.
Well, he's going to call up Tom Brady, and Tom's going to back him and say, Coach, develop me. Tom reached his height under the Patriots umbrella.
Okay.
That will be the key. Whether,
right.
Of course, Tom is an outlier in everything. I also hear I hear a lot of this of, man, is Bill Belichick ready to deal with recruits that say I'm leaving or dealing with the politics? When has Bill Belichick ever been afraid of work? The fact that he's getting back into the college level right now, this guy, he's a sicko in a sense. He loves the work. He loves the scope of this. He also, part of his contract is a significant commitment from the university in terms of support staff, strength staff, NIL commitment, transfer portal commitment. He already has a GM of the transfer portal that has a plan in place. They want to build from the trenches out and create competition at the quarterback position. By the way. Sure, but this is a guy, I do believe it's different when Bill Belichick slides his Super Bowl rings across the table. That's an argument that no one else has. And when it comes to drafting from college, the draft picks you make have to be better than the best in the world. That's why the hit rate is so low. All his guys have to be is better than Joe Smith, the head coach at so-and-so in ACC. I think Bill Belichick is a smarter coach than almost everyone in college football and certainly most coaches in the ACC.
It's interesting you talked about Tom Brady's development because I would punch back if I was sitting there recruiting against UNC. Part of this is like sales where you deal with objections every day. You sell real estate, went through all the courses. I would ask the question, tell the kids, ask Bill what happened to Mac Jones. He came in the league.
He was an all-pro.
Rookie year.
He was an all-pro.
He was a Heisman finalist. That was Nick Saban's development. His best year was his rookie year, and then he fell off. What about N'Keal Harry? What about him?
If N'Keal Harry was on the North Carolina Tar Heels, he'd be the best receiver, one of the best in the ACC.
I understand.
NFL is different.
It's not. It's really not. Those were guys that he targeted. He said, I want these guys. And they went backwards in their development once they got there. I feel like Tom Brady is the outlier in this story and not the actual case. So what was he going to tell? Oh, I'll make you into Julian Edelman. I'll make you into Wes Welker. I don't want to be those guys.
What about the defense?
Don't tell me you're going to make me into Randy Moss because you didn't develop him. You brought him in as a free agent. This is
what about the defense?
The whole point I'm trying to
twins?
say.
Like, what about?
I think you're missing the grand scheme of this. The point that I'm trying to say is I don't think it's as simple as him walking in and saying, I'm the greatest ever. There are those objections he's going to have to face, and he better have a good answer for them.
I think he will have a good answer because I see what you're saying, but Bill has plenty of ammo and also resources, and also, again, those rings matter to say, listen, I can develop. I don't think a kid is going to look at the history of Bill Belichick and really believe that pitch from some other college coach who also hasn't won anything. I don't think that's a strong enough point to deter.
So you don't think, just as an example, if you don't think Lincoln Riley can say, look at my track record with the quarterbacks that I've had here in college and look at the one that he had that wasn't Tom Brady.
What's Bill going to say?
You don't think Brian Hartline could walk in and tell a wide receiver, you look at what I've done, all the first-round picks that I've put out here, and then look at the guys that he had, and you don't think that's going to resonate? Like, the part of the other teams recruiting against him is to bring up these doubts, is to create these ideas and to respond to the objections that, oh, well, won a bunch of Super Bowls. Like, no, that's not the point here. The point is I take you, an 18-year-old, out of algebra class, I bring you into a meeting, I teach you, we go out on the field, I coach you, and you become a first-round pick. And guess who's never done that since the 70s when he started coaching? Bill Belichick. I think that's going to be something he's going to have to be prepared for.
Bill Belichick is a great teacher. That is the truth. He's getting into this for teaching. And what Bill's going to say is, okay, you want to say that? You want to go play for Lincoln Riley? What has he won? What has he won? He hasn't won.
What
a damn
does
thing.
Bill Belichick win in college?
Super Bowls,
in college?
even more so. It doesn't matter.
That's
winning
kind of
is winning
saying,
at the highest level.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
Winning is winning at the highest level.
But these are two different sports. It's different products. It's different approaches. It takes different things to be successful. That's why Nick Saban went to the NFL and couldn't get it done.
Situationally, he's the best situational coach. Situationally, he's the best situational coach in college football already right now, and he hasn't even coached a game yet.
I think it's
How many times have we seen coaches butcher games situationally? That's not his issue.
I think it's going to be real interesting when he realizes that dudes are basically on one-year deals every year.
Define success.
I'm saying success for them is probably 9 wins this upcoming season. That would be one of the best seasons they've had.
You'd be okay with 8?
I'd be okay with 8.
7,
anything
maybe.
less than that.
6 is disappointing.
Yeah, this is what they are right now.
That's the benchmark.
Yeah.
That's the benchmark.
Yep.
All right, we're going to step aside for a break.